Are you a healer, witch, creative, or magical entrepreneur who's ready to fill your high-ticket one-on-one or group coaching program, and you want a sales page that will do the selling for you? Maybe you're tired of having a calendar full of sales calls and you want a sales page that can clearly articulate your offer and guide interested clients to feel ready to buy without needing to talk to you first. Maybe you already have a sales page and people are clicking on it but not reaching out, and you want to feel clear on what to say and what not to say to turn interested people into actual buyers. Having sales pages for my offers has led to filling a high-ticket group coaching program with 10 clients at $1,000 each while traveling on vacation for 2 weeks and launching using repurposed content. Having 5-figure months from sales into my $5,000 evergreen mastermind with no live launching beyond daily social media content. Signing clients into my $17,000 private mentorship program with no sales calls. When you book my Cosmic Sales Intensive, you'll walk away with a full, clear, compelling sales page for your high-ticket offer that will attract ready-to-buy clients and that you can continue to make sales with for years to come. Clients who have been through this offer have created a sales page that went on to sell out a high-ticket relationship coaching mastermind, had 20 applications within 48 hours of publishing, sold several $15,000 private mentorship packages, and even had a 6-figure launch with the sales page and content strategy we created within just a few weeks. Stop losing people with fluffy language that sounds the same as so many others in your industry, and clearly articulate why your work is worth $5,000 to $10,000 plus, even when you sell things like astrology, human design, breathwork, mindset coaching, or energy work. Book your Cosmic Sales Intensive now at withsarahmac.com or via the link in my description. This is Sarah Mac, and welcome to Creative Magic Club. Together, we'll discover inspirational stories of creative entrepreneurs living out their dreams, doing the work they are most passionate about, and building wealth in magical and fun ways. While building a 6-figure income as a writer and coach, helping other women to launch their dream businesses, I've connected with so many incredible people and seen it proven again and again that you can thrive financially doing whatever it is you are passionate about. I'm here to share life-changing strategies for mindset, making money, and reaching more people with your work in a business and life filled with creativity, freedom, and fun. Hello, your host Sarah Mac here, and welcome back to part 3 of this special 4-part training series called the Easy High Ticket Sales Ecosystem for coaches and creatives to position your offers so incredible clients can say yes to the soul work you're destined to sell. So if you didn't already, check out part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is the aligned offer archetype, and part 2 is why your high ticket offer is not selling and why that's not your fault, where we dive into prompts based on your unique astrology to give you those custom tailored insights. They are so good. Definitely go back and check those out before we dive into part 3. So today we're going to be talking about soul-aligned pricing and positioning and how to price to attract dream clients and fun sales that make your income goal easy to hit, and what I learned to do instead of dropping my prices to make sales more easily. So here are some challenges that I faced around pricing when I first started stepping into really raising my prices and adopting a high ticket offer as a major part of my business strategy and my business model, which I was really intuitively led to. So the first belief I kept coming up against, that I see people coming up against left, right, and center, is just that simple belief that the people in your existing audience can't afford it. We all do this. We project this belief onto all of those hundreds or thousands of people out there online. And obviously it's understandable why we do this, right? Especially when we've been feeling the pinch financially, especially when we've been investing a lot in our business, or the pressure is on to make some sales because they haven't happened in a while, or you're launching a new offer and you're feeling the pressure. This old belief, it will rear its ugly head and really become front and center focus of oh, the reason that people are not buying my high ticket offer is because they can't afford it. And I'm sure we've all heard this, right? Like we have heard the money objections, like, oh, I would love to, but I don't have the money right now. Or this is out of my price range, or this is out of my budget right now. I love how this shift happened for me right at the beginning of my coaching business. So I'd been running my copywriting agency. And if you want my whole story of how I went from literally charging $5 per gig as a writer to signing 5-figure contracts with clients, definitely go and check out my book, The 6-Figure Creative, Heal Your Relationship with Money, Doing the Work That You Love, which is on Amazon. My name is Sarah Mack. You can find it in any country. So I've come a long, long, long way, but I launched my coaching business, and like I said, I was intuitively drawn to a high ticket business model. And my initial belief that was getting in the way of that was, but the people I want to serve don't have enough money. And I really believed that. And it felt so, so true for me. And a big part of the reason why was because the inspiration behind my business in helping creatives with a money mindset was because, number one, I had struggled so much with it. And number two, all of the people in my community that I loved so dearly and saw as so brilliant and so capable and so needed in the world had so many challenges around their relationship with money and earning lots of money and doing it for the things that they're naturally good at and using their creative gifts and making the change that they want to see in the world in the communities that they cared most about. And one of the biggest blocks that I came up against, which I think has happened to a lot of people in business, was like, oh, I just have to work with rich people. Like, that's just who I have to focus on working with. And that just didn't inspire me, right? I'm sure you've seen all those YouTube ads for like, are you an executive level woman who is looking for change, blah, blah, blah. And like, I wanted to help my community. I wanted to help people who were challenged by money. And so it felt like I was stuck in a corner of, well, I want to help people who are challenged by money, but they don't have any money to pay me, so I can't run my business, so this isn't going to succeed. And thankfully, I'd done enough mindset work at that point to trust my desires and to know that if I desire something, if I desire to make impact and create change, that I'm meant for that and that it's possible and that I have absolutely everything within me to make that happen. So despite having so much evidence that my audience was filled with people who did not have the money and weren't willing to invest, it still turns out I was totally projecting limiting money stories onto them, and it was holding me back from filling my offers at high ticket price points. And I'm going to go into what I had to do to turn that around. But first, I want to talk about another challenge that I have faced in my business around pricing, which is losing my confidence and then lowering my prices as a result. So I'm sure we've all been there when you've been selling an offer, and this has happened to me even since I've had a lot of success in selling high ticket offers. I've been through periods where nobody has bought for a while. And that has led to this thought pattern that I now see come up in my clients all the time, which is, oh, it must be the price point. So I should just sell something at a lower price point in order to make more sales, or even drop the price on my offer. And I did this enough times to learn that this doesn't work. Or it doesn't always work, and it doesn't always lead to more sales. And every time I see clients do this, if they haven't, they're having all their insecurities are getting triggered in the launch because they're putting themselves out there, even though we've done the work to test their messaging, we've done the work to really position their offer and really pull out the stories that are going to sell it. You still have to go through the waiting period of putting yourself out there and letting your message land and, doing the work to attract clients into your offer. And I've seen them be like, oh, I should just lower my price. And I am always going to step in there to interrupt that little voice in your head that's telling you the price is the reason that people are not buying. It is not. Please hear me when I say this. Nothing replaces the actual work of refining a clear message for a clear offer that solves a clear problem for a specific client. Whether you're charging $20 or $20,000, sometimes you literally just need to keep going. Sometimes you need to talk to more people and adapt your messaging. Sometimes you need to adapt your launch strategy for your audience, and just changing your price isn't going to fix any of these important issues, which can often just need a very tiny tweak to start landing sales. And yes, sometimes you need to start talking to a completely different client or even selling a completely different offer. But if you're working with me, this will be clear from the beginning when we use your astrology to guide your offer and messaging, and you apply the timeless sales principles I teach consistently. You can't not be making sales. When you really follow through and you stay the course and you apply and you keep showing up and you keep selling. And of course, you can pivot and evolve your work. You can evolve your ideal client. You can evolve your offers as you go. But here's another belief for you that has really supported me throughout my 10 years of entrepreneurship is I'm a big believer in getting paid to evolve. Be serving and be making money while you figure things out and tweak and refine in your business. That is the principle I have operated on from day one in my business because I couldn't afford to do it any other way. I had to be getting paid from day one as an entrepreneur. If you want to know my full story about how I was catapulted into entrepreneurship, it's all in my book. And it was really a birth of fire into these lessons. When your livelihood depends on your business, you figure this shit out real fast, let me tell you. And that's really the benefit of going all in, jumping in with 2 feet and not giving yourself a choice but to make it work. You will figure it out. You will move through the discomfort and whatever unconscious resistance might be lurking in the background, which we're going to work on surfacing in this training and in the worksheet today. You're going to move through that and you're going to rewire those patterns to feel more safety, to feel more certainty, and to feel more security in being able to consistently fill a high ticket offer. So another challenge and pattern that I noticed in myself in selling a high ticket offer is overworking or overgiving to justify a higher price point. So also known as stuffing your offer or trying to give them everything, almost as a way of proving your worth, proving that it's worth the higher price point. And this ultimately is not the most effective way to design your offers and can also lead to more complexity when you're trying to sell, which has sabotaged my launches before. So take it from me. When you position an offer as everything you need to get X result, this is not a good selling point. Really, what you need to do is show your clients a clear pathway to what they want, and especially now more than ever, what they do not need, keeping it really simple, focused, and dialed in on your unique expertise and embodied wisdom. This is really what's needed to build that trust and faith and desire to work with you over and above everyone out there who's offering very similar solutions to you. And this all happens naturally when we build out your message, your offer, and strategy from your story and your unique lived experience. Like I always say, your story is your curriculum. You do not need to be more skilled, more experienced, or better at anything than you are right now in this moment. But you do need to be honest about what you have embodied, walked through, and are capable of leading clients through. This really is the unlock for high ticket sales. When you can communicate this clearly, you become magnetic to the clients who need exactly what you have and who you are in this precise moment. Once I really understood this and stopped trying to overgive or be better than I was, or overreach or over-explain, I was able to do things like not change one single thing about my high ticket private mentorship offer and raise the price $8,000 at once and sign clients at the new higher price point. I literally bumped an offer from $9,000 to $17,000, changed nothing about it, and immediately signed a new client. This just goes to show how much freaking money your unconscious bullshit could be costing you. So pay attention to this lesson, do the journal prompts that you're going to get with this, and fully show up for this exercise. So let's touch on really what had to shift for me to sidestep all of this nonsense that was slowing me down from making the money and impact that I was truly capable of. So firstly, I had to choose to believe that the perfect clients were out there, that they were ready to invest, and I had to start speaking to them very specifically and strategically in my content. And it all started, and this is a big shift that really helps. It really helped me and it helps so many of my clients. So please take this in. When I started seeing myself as evidence that somebody who shared my values, my dreams, and my ambitions was all in and willing to get resourceful to invest in big transformations. I invest big. I bet on myself. I take risks, as do you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have created the transformation that you are now selling to clients. So your number one shift is to decide and believe that there are others out there like you who invest big. And I've made big investments in myself when I was broke on paper, but I stretched myself and I got resourceful to make those investments work and pay off for myself. And this was a huge epiphany for me because I think so often, especially when we're empathetic, we project onto our audience and we connect with our audience around the victim stories, right? Around why it's hard, around why not now, around why it's so difficult. And there's so many good reasons to be empathetic and to pay attention to those stories. But that is not going to help us to attract clients who are truly ready to make moves, to create transformation. And honestly, this is how we make the biggest impact. We cannot make an impact if we cannot get paid to show up and do our work. We cannot reach more and more people if we cannot develop a sustainable business that supports our basic needs, plus all of the other things that we need in our support system in order to show up as the leaders that we are capable of being. So we really have to put on our rubber gloves and scrub out all of that noisy bullshit that's pulling us into resistance to charging higher prices, to selling our high ticket offer when we're committing to that strategy. You know, if you don't want to sell high ticket, that's totally cool. But if you're trying to sell high ticket, but then filling your mind with all of these BS stories of resistance, what's the freaking point? You're just chasing your tail and it's slowing you down. So we're going to talk more about this, so don't worry. This was really a huge epiphany for me. And again, it speaks to that amnesia we have around ourselves. We're so busy focused on everybody else, projecting our stories about everybody else, that we forget to see the value that we bring. So really buying into this belief that if I can do it, so can others. And I took full responsibility for my risks and my investments and my results, and I can invite people who are equally responsible into the invitation. I'm not holding a gun to anybody's head. I'm not manipulating anybody into this high ticket offer. I'm putting the opportunity out there, knowing full well what's capable, backing myself, backing the offer, backing the clients and the visions of the clients who step in to work with me. And it's freaking magical when we get to work with the clients who are a match for that, right? So the other piece that really helped me to ease through that resistance around charging more money than I'd ever charged before for work that was more fun for me than any work I'd ever done before. Obviously it is a process of nervous system adaptation, and it's a process of believing and building evidence and giving ourselves permission to be well paid doing what we love. How I approach this from a price point perspective is starting with a price point that's both exciting and realistic. And this is a very personal number, right? It's going to be a price that is relative to your current belief system, which is always something that you can work on. It's always something that is evolving. And maybe you earn a certain amount of money in a certain type of a way. So the amount of money feels normalized, but earning it in a way that feels like you're skipping school and you're getting paid to just play and have fun and work way less than you were working before, that might be the edge for you, where you have to work on the believability that, oh, I can make this money, but I can do it in this way more aligned and expansive and freeing and fun way. And you get to raise your price gradually as you build those skills at getting good at signing clients and really dialing in your messaging and building out your offer brand awareness with more testimonials, more promotions. I'm never going to force my clients to sell something at a price point that does not feel realistic or believable to them, because it causes their nervous system to fly into resistance, because they're never going to follow through on their launch if they do not believe that they can be paid at that price point. So I'm a big believer in edging that price up by signing one client at a time and building that evidence. And go and read my book if you want the full story on my post-it note method, where I literally went from charging $5 for a writing gig to $30 an hour, $50 an hour, $100, $200, $300, $500 an hour to, completely stepping away from the money per hour model and signing clients at 5, 10, 15K and above. One client, one price point at a time. And, I'm so grateful for that journey and really having started from so low, because when I started to creep that price point up incrementally, obviously at the lower end, it was so freaking easy. Like I could double my price from $25 an hour to $50 an hour. And I wasn't getting no's. Of course, no one was saying no because I was still undercharging. But the gift that gave me was the belief that I could raise my price point. And there are still clients out there who are going to say yes. And obviously, as I raised my prices higher and higher, I did start to hear more no's. And that's when I really had to dial in the skill of positioning and marketing and branding and messaging and really tailoring to exactly who I wanted to call in and getting really specific about my sales and launch strategy to get in front of the right people and knowing exactly how to talk to them. So yes, there's a skill set that's required for the external actions, but we also have to build that evidence internally to start to rewire those unconscious patterns that have led us to undercharge and overgive in the first place. So arbitrarily picking a high price without doing the messaging and positioning work to sell your highest value offer, that's not going to work. You can't just be like, Susie so-and-so is out there online charging this amount of money, so I can do it too. I mean, by all means, use other people as permission slips, but you cannot shortcut the audience building, the brand awareness, the offer positioning, the messaging, the testing and proving your message on your own unique story and your own unique compatible clients and audience. Lowering your price point to lower resistance to buying without doing the messaging and positioning work to sell your highest value offer, that's not going to work either. So once you have designed your high ticket offer, you have to research, trial, and test your message until it is proven. And we do this by having actual conversations with your client, not just posting and praying, and really obsessing over getting good at solving their high value problem until you've mastered how to talk to them in a way that's landing, that's leading to sales from your content. And then you have a proven, relatable message. And any content that you create, like your sales pages and launch content, that once it's proven, you can use on repeat to make 5-figure launches happen more easily every time. And this whole entire process can take just a few weeks when I'm helping my clients to launch a new offer. So ask yourself this, is it worth it to go through the effort of designing, testing, refining, and learning to successfully sell a high ticket offer and moving through your shit around your pricing and your worth to be able to serve clients at very high levels, help them create life-changing transformation, get paid really, really well, and have a life of freedom around your business for the privilege of making this impact in other people's lives? I would say so, right? Like just a few weeks of really dialing in these skill sets around a specific offer and really just having those breakthroughs and getting good at how to sell and fill that offer. It was learning these skills and moving through my resistance around charging more that has allowed me to make hundreds of thousands of dollars while traveling the world, working with incredible clients, having a huge impact through my business. And this skill building can take just a few weeks to start seeing results. So I want to share one client story with you for inspiration. This client came to me when she was barely making any money in her business. She was leading a lot of in-person events. She was also writing a book. She was building an audience and a movement around her work, but she had been stalling on actually launching an offer. But it got to that point where she really needed more money to continue to sustain, all of these incredible things that she was doing through her business. So she knew it was time to move through her resistance and get help. And I used her astrology chart to position her offer, to clearly define the most compatible soul client for her work, then pull out the angles of her story that make it obvious how she is qualified to lead that client through the transformation. Next, we wrote the sales page copy. We got clear on her next steps to start inviting her community into her offer. And she had more than 20 applications in 24 hours of launching her sales page. She made $80,000 within just a few weeks, filling her high ticket mastermind that was focused on relationship coaching. And off the back of that launch, she was also selling spots in a one-on-one offer priced at $15,000. So this just goes to show when you have the right offer, the right client, the right brand stories, and a clear pathway to work with you, everything sells everything. You call the ready to invest clients forward and sales can happen easily. It literally does not matter if your offer is $500, $5,000, or $15,000. This is what is needed to sell an offer. And most importantly, fill it with the right clients who will get the biggest impact from your work and who you will love working with the most. But your price, it is really important. It has to work for you and your business. And like I said, that's going to be really personal. I remember working with another client who was launching a new coaching offer. And when we talked about pricing for this offer, she had a number in her head for how much she wanted to charge for her one-on-one work based on, I don't know, nothing, based on her loose idea of what she thought was some type of an industry standard. And then when we looked at how much money she would make versus the amount of time that she would put in to deliver this one-on-one offer, she was like, I make more money from this just off my investments. And I knew in that moment when I asked her to check in with the price point and if it felt enough for her, that we would have to raise the price. Because if it didn't feel worthwhile, if it didn't feel like all of that time and energy that she was putting into that one-on-one offer was being recuperated to a level that felt exciting to her, she was never going to show up and sell that offer. So that was her price point, right? And everybody's overheads are different. Everybody has a different size family. Everybody lives in different states with different rent, with different mortgages, and different amounts of money have different meaning relative to each of us. So it has to make sense for you. It has to make sense for your life. And it has to, above all, incentivize you to keep showing up and putting in the work to serve others. Because if you're not excited to sign clients and do the work, you will unconsciously sabotage your launch. And this is why I teach messaging and launch strategy alongside the money mindset work and using astrology as a tool to really fast track those insights into our own unique flavor of unconscious resistance. It's such a super cool power tool because it shows up in each of us slightly differently, even though there are definitely common trends. And this is why I love doing this work through the lens of astrology, because you can't hide from your chart. And anytime we can externalize an internal experience, it really helps us to shift it or to embody it more fully and with more clarity, confidence, and ease. And that's why I'm super, super excited to announce my group coaching program, the Cosmic Freedom Lab for Visionary Creators. This is the space to support you to get paid more, work less, live bigger, and use your astrology to build a brand that feels like home and sells like magic. So inside this space, we'll be working together in 2 monthly workshops, one to create your monthly sales content aligned with your chart, to sell your sweet spot high value offer through content that speaks to the hearts of your most compatible clients and makes it so freaking obvious why they should be so excited to pay you thousands of dollars to change their lives forever. And in the other monthly workshop, we're going to dive into your chart to uncover and shift the deep layers of your unique unconscious resistance to earning more, working less, growing your impact, visibility, and leadership to build a brand that magnetizes soulmate clients into your offers with ease on repeat. Plus, you have direct access to me for personalized strategic mindset and astrological support with 2 days of Voxer group coaching each week and a monthly strategy map based on your astrology for the month. So you'll know exactly what actions to focus on taking each week with that accountability from me to be signing more clients into your high ticket offer to build those skills. So if you know you're in need of this kind of support to build aligned sales, momentum, and sustainable cash flow in a business and brand you love, send me a DM on Instagram at SarahMacMagic or book a call to apply at the link in the description below. So today we are going to look at your Venus placement and what clues it can give you about the ways you might be talking yourself out of making more money. This is huge because if you don't believe it's possible to charge higher rates, to sell your high ticket offer, to easily attract incredible clients who are so excited to invest and pay you and create massive transformation, you won't follow through on the simple actions required to make the sales. This can happen if your price is too high or too low. So let's look under the covers of your unconscious and see what sneaky stories have been sabotaging your success. So click on the workbook for this training, and there you'll find 3 journal prompts for your Venus sign. So work through them, and I invite you to commit to your high ticket offer price. Make that decision. Decide to follow through and do the work and build the skills to actually get good at enrolling clients into a high ticket offer at your desired price point, at least for your next client. And remember, you're the boss. You can always put your price up or down at any point in your business. So practice committing to your next price point. Go out there and sell your offer until that next spot is filled, and prove to yourself that you can in fact sell anything at any price point. And please, for the love of God, stop blaming your price point for whatever doesn't feel right or easy or flowy in the way that you're making sales. So next time you catch your mind blaming your price point for the reason why things aren't going well, you don't love the clients, or the sales aren't happening easily, or whatever isn't feeling good, don't blame your price point. So commit to the price that you want to receive for your work. No more wavering, no more backing out. No more stalling. Commit to your goal, no matter how long it takes. And I invite you to share your takeaways, questions, or any sticky points that come up for you around this conversation in our group Voxer chat, or DM me directly on Instagram at Sarah MacMagic. I cannot wait to hear what comes up for you from these prompts, and I want to hear your new price commitment. Share it with me and I will hold that goal with you. So make sure you join me for the final part of this training series tomorrow, part 4. We are going to talk about building an offer ecosystem that makes high ticket sales easy. How to position your high ticket offer inside a streamlined brand ecosystem that does the selling for you. So signing dream clients happens through a simple, straightforward, heart-led conversation, and clients are showing up in your inbox already excited to buy, no matter the price. Thank you so much for being here. And if you know anyone who would be supported by this free training series, please go ahead and send it to them. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.